The morning air was cold and sharp as the crew gathered at the edge of the claim. Mist drifted over the river, machines rumbled awake, and everyone felt it. Today was going to be different. The ground looked rich, dark, and promising. They had been chasing this gold line for weeks, and now the final cut was ready to run. For days they'd battled clogged pumps, busted hoses, and endless rain. The ground fought them every step of the way, but miners are built for that kind of fight. Every shovelful of dirt carried the same silent prayer: let there be gold. The excavator clawed into the earth, scooping bucket after bucket into the hopper. The wash plant roared as water surged through the sluice box. Gravel raced over the riffles, churning and tumbling, separating gold from stone. The sound of rushing water filled the valley. The foreman watched closely, eyes fixed on the mats. "If this pay layer's what I think it is," he said with a grin, "we're about to see some real color today." Hours passed. The crew worked non-stop, their faces streaked with mud and determination. The sun climbed high, beating down on the valley, turning everything golden, almost prophetic. Then, near midday, something happened. Jake, the youngest of the crew, leaned over the sluice. "Hey, wait a second. Do you guys see that?" Everyone rushed over. Tiny golden specks shimmered between the black sands, flashing under the sunlight. The sluice wasn't just running gravel, it was bleeding gold. "Keep it running," yelled the foreman. "We're on the strike." Suddenly the crew was electrified. Every bucket became a jackpot. The excavator moved faster, the pumps growled louder, and the whole operation came alive. The sight of gold in the riffles is a miner's favorite kind of music. It means everything they've done is finally paying off. By late afternoon, the mats looked heavy and loaded. The pay dirt had done its job. It was time to shut it down and see what the ground had given them. The pumps went silent. The roar of the water faded into quiet excitement. One by one, the crew pulled the mats from the sluice, washing the concentrates into tubs. The mixture of black sand and gold swirled in the water like liquid fire. Mark tilted the pan, watching flakes catch the light. "Would you look at that? There's gold everywhere." Cheers erupted. Everyone crowded around the tubs, disbelief written across their faces. For a crew that had been running on faith and fumes, this was pure victory. They worked through the cleanup carefully, separating the heavy sands, picking out the bigger nuggets, and drying the fine gold. When the dust finally settled, the scale sat waiting on the table. The crew circled around, hearts pounding. The foreman poured the first handful of gold onto the scale. The numbers started climbing: 5.1, 9.6, 14.8, 22, 26.0 ounces. The room exploded in celebration. 26 ounces, shouted Jake, jumping in the air. "We broke the 100,000 mark." The foreman laughed, shaking his head in disbelief. "That's it, boys, we did it. Over 100 grand in gold, our biggest cleanup ever." For a moment, nobody spoke. They just stood there, staring at the mound of gold on the scale. It glowed under the shop lights, heavy, warm, and worth every sleepless night they'd spent chasing it. That single cleanup changed everything. The debts that had been weighing them down didn't seem so impossible now. The broken machines and long hours were suddenly worth it. The ground had finally rewarded their faith. Later that night, they sat around a small fire, the vial of gold sitting in the center like a trophy. The flames flickered, reflecting in each man's eyes. Jake looked at the foreman and said, "Remember when we thought we were done? 2 weeks ago we almost packed it in." "Yeah," the foreman replied, smiling. "But we didn't. You never quit on the gold. You dig until the ground tells you to stop." Mark held up the vial, letting it catch the firelight. "Look at this. 26 ounces. It's not just gold, it's proof. Proof that we can do this." The foreman nodded. "It's not luck. It's persistence. Every shovelful, every repair, every early morning. It all leads to moments like this." Silence fell for a while. The fire crackled softly, and the river murmured in the distance. It felt like the mountain itself was proud of them. "Tomorrow," said the foreman finally, "we go deeper. If this layer gave us 26 ounces, imagine what's waiting below it." The crew grinned. They knew he was right. Once a miner strikes gold, it's never enough. You always wonder what's beneath the next few feet of earth. As the night grew darker, the stars stretched across the sky like specks of dust scattered by God's own pan. The crew sat there, surrounded by the sounds of the wilderness, hearts full of hope. They had broken the 100K barrier, but more importantly, They had broken through doubt itself. Every nugget in that jar represented more than money. It was proof that faith, hard work, and sheer stubbornness could still beat the odds. They hadn't just found gold. They'd found belief again. Back at camp, the foreman placed the gold vial beside the logbook and looked around at his crew. "Get some rest, boys," he said quietly. "Tomorrow we chase the next one." He smiled to himself as he switched off the lantern. Outside, the valley glowed faintly under the moonlight. Somewhere beneath that dirt, more gold waited, hidden and silent, daring them to come and find it. They would. Because miners never stop. From the first pan to the last cleanup, it's not the gold that drives them. It's the chase. And on this day, after 26 gleaming ounces and a $100,000 payday, they knew one truth better than ever. When you refuse to quit, the earth always gives back. Gold everywhere. A dream realized, and a crew ready to do it all again tomorrow. The sun had barely risen over the rugged valley when the crew gathered at the claim. Steam rolled off the river. The machines growled to life, and everyone could feel it. This was going to be a big day. The kind of day that decides whether a mining season survives or ends. For weeks, they'd battled endless mud, freezing nights, and mechanical breakdowns. They'd lost time, fuel, and morale, but still they kept digging. Because every miner knows one truth. The gold doesn't come easy. You have to earn it, ounce by ounce, with sweat and patience. This morning felt different. The cut looked promising. The pay dirt was richer, darker, and full of heavy black sands. A good sign that gold was close. The foreman gave a nod. "Let's fire her up. Time to make today count." The excavator dug deep into the heart of the pay layer, bucket after bucket dropping into the hopper. The sluice box thundered with running water, shaking as gravel and dirt flowed over the riffles. Everyone's eyes were fixed